While the idea of the government going through your phone records may be upsetting, a law professor we spoke to tonight says it's not illegal under the Patriot Act, which would make it difficult for anyone to successfully sue the federal government over this issue.
President Obama signed into law a 4-year extension of the Terrorism-Fighting Patriot Act. That bill extends the life of roving wiretaps, court-ordered searches of business records, and the surveillance of suspects without known ties to terrorist groups.
The image of Makima as a godly being is prevalent throughout the story of Chainsaw Man. Yet one thing that's never brought up are the real-world parallels and how Makima represents the modern age of government overreach. One of Makima's many abilities is the power to control animals, using them to watch over those beneath her. Crows are her preferred choices, which mirrors our real-world fears of government using birds to spy on us, watching us in plain sight yet never taking their eyes off of us. Joking or not, this taps into a deeper cultural fear of constant surveillance. Makima's eyes have a very unique shape, and while later on in Part 2, many more characters would come to adopt this eye shape, within the context of Part 1, these eyes bear a striking resemblance to camera lens, a stark reminder that control is always watching. And even more so when you look at the future Devil's eyes, they too resemble the shape of camera lens, and Future also watches over Aki as he lives out the rest of his short life. Throughout history on Earth, humans have tried to conquer that which cannot be conquered. Humans have always tried to shape the world and each other to their will. They've tried to manipulate and control the world around them. Beneath the Earth's surface and beyond the Earth's atmosphere lies unimaginable wonders that we cannot comprehend. Yet, as a species, we're drawn to it. The saying dog-eat-dog world stays relevant in our world even today, as the mindset, or more so fear, of being controlled pushes us towards new heights. Modern technology enables large government bodies to watch our every move and see our most private moments. These themes directly shape Chainsaw Man's main antagonist, the Control Devil herself, one of the 4 devil fears of the apocalypse, which brings us to the biggest question in Chainsaw Man's world: where do fears actually begin? Admittedly, Chainsaw Man's concept of devils being physical manifestations of fears is a bit flimsy when you try to apply real-world logic, but that can apply to many works of fiction. The easy answer is that fears are as old as humans, yet does the same logic apply to animals? Probably not, since we've never actually seen animals' fears manifest into a devil. Yet, depending on what you believe, humans weren't exactly born either. Aside from a few key examples, Fujimoto doesn't give us a lot of concrete information about how possession actually works in Chainsaw Man. Most of what we do see revolves around fiends taking over humans' corpses when their original bodies are destroyed. We know Yoru possessed Asa while leaving her mind intact, but what if she isn't the only one who did this? What if all the other horsemen are also possessing human women in the same way, but with one key difference? Instead of sharing a body like Yoru and Asa do, they completely suppress and erase the original consciousness of the host. This would explain Makima's humanoid appearance, given that every other devil we've seen, aside from Angel, has a monstrous form. Angel's human appearance could easily be explained by the fact that many humans picture a human with wings and a halo when imagining an angel, even if it's not biblically accurate, which also brings up the topic of how religious parallels play a part in not only the design of some characters, but also the narrative of Part 1. The story and characters in Part 1 never have any free will. Well, they do in a sense, but the events and people themselves are always being manipulated in the shadows. Nothing is more evident of this fact more than Denji's makeshift family. It's not a coincidence that as soon as Denji joined public safety, he was given the illusion of a normal life, with an older brother and a younger sister as fragments of a family. Later on in the story, Makima even admits this to Denji, as she used them to build him up, only to tear everything away from him and ultimately bring her one step closer to her long-time goal. What's even more clear is how chaotic Part 2 seems to be. There's no longer anything holding back the evil forces of not only the devils, but also the humans themselves, as public safety has become a more villainous organization with the absence of one of the most seemingly evil characters in fiction. It's easy to forget because it isn't specifically mentioned often. But public safety is a government body, similar to the FBI. It works to protect society and average everyday people, yet just like in real life. Whether the way it goes about doing that is the correct way is debatable. Makima claims to want to help humanity by erasing her sisters, yet the way she goes about doing so, by killing, manipulating, and controlling the world around her, makes her out to be the villain of the story. But even so, is it truly what's best for humanity? Do the ends justify the means? Makima's control over the story kept things mostly neat even when external forces appeared, but even then, she was able to use them to her advantage, like Reise's return and turning Aki into the gun fiend. Her plan of killing her sisters would have gained her even more control over the world, had she succeeded. However, looking at the current events of the series, it's hard to say what would have or could have happened had Makima won in the end, but in a world as chaotic as Chainsaw Man, maybe absolute control isn't the enemy. Maybe it's just what happens when that control disappears. But that's just my opinion. Thank you for watching.